And good Thursday evening, everyone. Welcome to Weather Worries. I'm Chief Meteorologist Todd Warren, coming to you live on the KTAL Now app, as well as live on my Facebook page, Todd Warren Weather. Thanks to everyone joining there. And coming up tonight, what we are looking at is basically after a gorgeous sunset, as you can see here across the Arklatex with the higher clouds that we saw moving in right at sunset. We're going to be looking at more clouds in the mix for tomorrow, and then storms move across the Arklatex probably Saturday evening. I'll show you the latest on timing, and there is pretty good model agreement on that timing that Futurecast has been indicating here for the past couple of days. The severe weather risk is looking low, but it's not zero, and I'll show you the possible impacts that we could be looking at. And of course, one concern is rain. We actually need some rain. New drought monitor has come out tonight, which I will show you here in the next 20 to 25 minutes, kind of highlighting the worsening drought conditions over parts of the Arklatex. And I'll, of course, have the details on how much rain may help out here this weekend. And this is Thursday, so it's grain of salt night, where I share the latest from the 6-week outlook from the EPS ensemble. So again, that's coming up as well. As a lot of you wondering, are we done with winter? I'll show you the answer to that here in a couple of minutes. So if you have a question or a comment, if you're watching on Facebook Live, feel free to ask away. If you just want to say hello, Todd, that's great too, as we like to start things off by saying our hellos. And Brian, as usual, is first on board tonight. Hello there, Brian. Lewis, good evening to you. Rusty, good evening. Eric says it's now 55 degrees west of the Arklatex near Lake Texoma in Colbert, Oklahoma. Thanks for tuning in there, Eric. You can see Eric says it's 55 now. We're in the mid to upper 50s. My Tempest station says I'm down to 56 degrees now. Gene in Gatlinburg. Hopefully you made it there, I take it. You must have left. I thought you said you were leaving Friday a couple of nights ago. Oh, traffic was terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you made it there, Gene. All right, let's get going, and a lot to cover tonight. So start you off with my level of concern for Saturday's storms. Again, in case you haven't heard, the Gemini Parade, the timing of that has been moved up to 1 p.m., just so that we get everything done and everyone out of harm's way, so to speak, before any lightning occurs. So based on that and the slight chance, a very small chance for a few severe storms, I'm going to keep my level of concern at 3 out of 10, and I'll show you the possible impacts coming up in just a bit. Renee, good evening. It's very low, Renee, and you'll see evidence of that as I get into the details, showing you the various possible impacts with Futurecast. Carol says, beautiful weather. No more snow, Carol, and I'll show you evidence of that as well. Well, today was a beautiful day, as Carol said. 72 degrees was the high temperature this afternoon in Shreveport, 70 degrees in Texarkana, 72 degrees in Marshall, and 67 was the high this afternoon in DeQueen. Normal this time of year at 62, so we were 10 degrees above normal in Shreveport. Overall, the weather pattern, you can see the axis of this upper level ridge. This is what's going to warm us up a bit tomorrow, as we will see a mostly cloudy sky, but enough sun in the afternoon to warm us up into the mid to upper 70s. Big upper level trough here across the west. This is going to move eastward, and we will see an area of low pressure develop to the west of the Arklatex here as we move into Friday morning. I should say Saturday morning. You can see the clouds trying to increase to our south tonight. Most of the country here through tomorrow looking relatively quiet until we get to the afternoon. You can see that low developing over the southern Rockies, over eastern New Mexico. And as it gradually moves towards the east, we will see the rain also begin to expand towards the east. I think most of our area, if not all of the area, will stay dry tomorrow and tomorrow night. I might have a little chance for some rain over the northwest. You'll see that here in a second. And you can see that low is going to track pretty close to the Red River here. And ahead of it, we will see some thunderstorms develop along this dry line here over north central Texas. And those will intensify as they move eastward. And then through the Arklatex, through the evening hours Saturday evening, that low kind of moves into Mississippi by Sunday. We'll see some moisture work its way around it, so some wraparound clouds will keep us mostly cloudy on Sunday. But I think for the most part, we're going to be okay as far as avoiding rain for the Highland Parade on Sunday. And you can see even Sunday night, we might see the clouds stay put, but we should see plenty of sunshine return by Monday. And you can see another disturbance moving into the western sections of the country. I kind of doubt that we'll see that impact us at all, as our next chance of rain after this weekend will be next weekend. And so we're timing everything out to where it is happening on the weekends. Let's see. Betty, hello. Hopefully you're doing well up there in Union County. I do have that rotation product that you like to look at, Betty. Aaron and WCOK, hello to you. Hopefully you enjoyed the sunshine today. Well, let's move ahead with Futurecast here as we take you through the next several days. And you can see a bit of an increase in the clouds, which has already begun during the nighttime hours tonight. Tomorrow will feature a mostly cloudy sky. I kind of doubt we'll see much as far as rain tomorrow, as we will see, again, a slight chance of rain northwest tomorrow night. And then Saturday, as that upper level trough and the low get closer, we will see the chance of rain increase. Notice just a few scattered showers during the afternoon in East Texas and Northwest Louisiana. You will see some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms over the north and northwestern sections of the area late Saturday afternoon. And then I'm going to pause this. You can see the storms increasing in intensity over the northwest edge of the area during the early evening hours. And after that takes place, we're going to see a rapid march towards the east and southeast. The leading edge of the storms arriving in Texarkana by 9, Longview by 9. Looks like by 10 o'clock we'll see the leading edge extending from Hope to Benton to Shreveport down to, say, Center, if not the northern tip of Toledo Bend. And then it moves out of the Arklatex by midnight. So it's going to take 4 or 5 hours to move across our viewing area. And once that line clears, we might see a few leftover showers during the nighttime hours Saturday night. We may start Sunday with a few leftover showers, but that rain will end Sunday morning. And you can see a rather windy and a cooler Sunday on the backside of the system, as we will see temperatures Sunday in the 60s. And I kind of doubt we'll see much more as far as rain Sunday afternoon, as we should see a little bit of sun mix in with the clouds. You notice that we stay partly to mostly cloudy during the night to Sunday night, and then that sunshine returns on Monday. And next week is still looking great, as you'll see in the forecast here in a second. You're welcome, Betty. Janice, I'm going to get to that here in just a second. I'll show you the possible impacts, which pretty much will apply to all of us. Mary, hello. Thanks for watching, and you're quite welcome. All right, I think the impacts are next. So here's the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Notice we have our 1 to 5 scale here, 1 being marginal, 5 being high. We're in the marginal category that's green. That means that if the severe weather reports that we get should be somewhat isolated. All right, so that means the risk is looking relatively low. One concern that we will have is the potential for some gusty winds, obviously, with this line of thunderstorm. This is what Futurecast is projecting. You can see the oranges and reds. That's basically 35 to 50 miles per hour. The browns are getting over 50. And notice we have more of those browns further to the south. There's going to be a bit more instability southward, models are indicating. So based on this, your chances of maybe seeing that gust of maybe 60, which is considered severe, 58 if you want to be specific, that chance may be highest over the southern edge of the area. So generally speaking, expect winds of 30 to 40, maybe a few gusts of 50, might have that isolated gust of 60, especially over the southern half of the area. As far as the rainfall aspect of things, this is another concern here. Futurecast's last several runs has been showing this swath of 2 to over 4 inches over the northwestern quarter of the area, basically along and northwest of Interstate 30. So flooding could become hard to believe, considering this is basically the part of the Arklatex, as you'll see here in a second, which is the driest. But obviously, if you get 4 inches in 5-6 hours time, it can cause some issues. And blend-up models here shows that generally speaking, most of the area is in line to get at least 2 inches. So the high-res model is kind of highlighting the northwestern sections of the region, but some of the globals do put a little bit more rain further to the south. So I would expect at least 2 inches the way it looks right now, especially north of Interstate 20. All right, so number one worry is going to be the wind gusts, and even that is looking isolated. The flood threat is looking isolated, but it is possible. The tornado threat, this is the latest output from Futurecast, and this is the 48 hours worth of basically all the swaths of rotating storms from now through Sunday morning. So anywhere that it occurs, so you can see where those storms begin to strengthen, that's where we could see just a little bit of rotation. What this tells me is that the tornado risk is extremely low. It's not zero, but it is low. So I'm not really too concerned about seeing anything rotating too much with that line coming through, especially since it is going to be a line. Hail potential. This is from Futurecast, and you can notice that most of these areas are the low end of the spectrum here, so a little bit of hail possible. It's kind of doubtful, if Futurecast is correct, that we'll see anything make it to quarter-sized, although it's possible, but it's doubtful given the amount of instability that we're going to be having. So two main concerns will be gusty winds along the line, as well as the potential for some heavy rain. So that, in a nutshell, is the impacts. If you want to rank them, number one, I would put the wind. Number two, the rain, maybe a little bit of flooding. And then tied for, I would put not really too concerned at all about hail. Hail may be a little bit better chance than seeing any tornadoes. So that's what it looks like right now. Again, just a marginal risk from SPC. All right, so that's the short-term view of things. Let's switch over to grain of salt time, and you can see the progress of this trough, and we will see the peak Saturday evening, as you just saw with Futurecast. Once that clears, upper level ridging is going to reestablish itself. So since this disturbance is not coming from Canada, it's coming from the Pacific, we're only going to cool a few degrees Sunday, and then we're going to warm right back up. By the middle of next week, highs will be in the 80s, as you'll see here in a second. And we could see another little impulse here. You can see this subtle little ripple right here give us a shot for some rain next Saturday, but it doesn't really look like too much. Could have some instability, but I kind of doubt, especially given how this trough is configured, that we will see anything as far as severe weather for next Saturday. Let's see. Nita, hello. Betty's glad that the tornado risk is low, but she says, I get the impression, Betty, you think 2 inches is too much. So I could use a couple of inches. I'm looking at my weather station. It's been 19 days since it's detected lightning, and that was ironically during the sleet storm. We had thunder sleet then. All right, so let's move on. And again, this is the longer range view of the models. You can see the rain this weekend, how little we're going to add next weekend. So generally speaking, what we get this weekend is pretty much going to be it for the next 10 days. Look at the various models here for the next 10 days, and you can see better agreement of getting that 2 inches plus over the northern part of the Arklatex. Notice that more of the models are a little bit lower, especially as you look south towards Natchitoches. European model going ballistic in Shreveport at 4 inches. Not saying it's not going to happen, but I would say chances are probably highest further to the north, because the northern part of the air, we're going to have that area of showers and thunder showers in the afternoon, and then the line develops in the same spot before it moves south. So that's one reason why we might see a little bit more rain there. And here's one model which goes out a little bit farther, the GFS, taking us out a couple weeks, and you can see that most of this is going to be this weekend. So it's getting this rain is going to be very, very important, because we are looking at the worsening drought conditions across the area, and I'll get into that when we go into big time grain of salt time. Again, we're in grain of salt time now. Grain of salt time, for those watching on the KTAL Now app, is what I define. Anything past a week, you got to take with a grain of salt, because chances are it's going to change, and we're looking at something that goes out 2 weeks. This is the European ensembles, and you can see they show the cool down Sunday, 80s by the middle of next week. A little bit of a cool down next weekend, and then we kind of stay in the 70s. Notice the coldest night could be Sunday night at 45. The blue line is the normal low, now 40. The red line is the normal high, now 62, I believe, by the time we get to the middle of this period. The GFS ensembles, pretty good agreement. You can see the dips are the same, maybe a little bit cooler towards the end of the period, and not as chilly for Monday morning, and cooler towards the end of the period. So it looks like we're going to see the above normal temperatures continue here for the next couple of weeks, and you'll see that when I go into the 6-week outlook here in a second. All right, drought monitor time. Last week, and I'm going to kind of rock these back and forth. This is the last week's drought monitor, so you'll be able to see the changes. Okay, I'm going to click the button to make the new one fade on. So 3, 2, 1. And you can see the worsening here over the northern parts of the area just north of Shreveport. Let's go back. And not much change over the southern part of the area. So we did see some worsening over the north, as well as this area here between Shreveport and the Arkansas-Louisiana line. So notice that we have some extreme drought conditions developing here. And I got to tell you, the more red that shows up on here, the more concerned I get, because we're starting to get warmer. That means we evaporate more efficiently, and we evaporate more because we're warmer. So we will start to, after these rains, we dry it out faster. So if we get a good rain and we go a week, we'll be drier than we were back in January when it was cooler, when we had the same thing. So we very well will have to watch this as we go towards summer, because I've often said this, that if we go into summer dry, it's going to be hot. So AKA, you might remember 2011. Betty says, ugh. All right, here's a look at the outlook for rainfall. Since I showed you that we are seeing the developing drought conditions. Now, last couple of weeks that I've shown this graphic, the rainfall numbers from the EPS ensembles for the next 6 weeks were a couple of inches below normal. This go around, this takes us through March 29th, almost through the entire month of March, is good news, actually, because it shows even a chance for above normal rainfall over the northern sections of the area, and the rest of the Arklatex is pretty close to normal. So this, if it does pan out this way, is actually good news that we may be a little bit more soggy, at least relative to normal, a little bit more soggy than we've been here in the last couple of months. Are we going to see more snow? Probably not. Now, you see DeQueen Idabel an inch. Are we going to get an inch? Probably not. Notice the chances here at the top of getting at least 2 inches. That's where we start to see problems develop, when we're talking snow. And they're all, 10% or less for the most part. So, and especially given the temperatures I'm going to show you now, we're not going to get any more snow. It's simply not going to get cold enough unless some freak polar blast comes down in March. Because February, as you just saw, rest of February is looking warm. All right, let's take you through the next 6 weeks of temperatures. We'll start with the average lows. Now, each one of these bars that you see here, notice that the size of the bar is not relative to temperature, it's relative to normal. The black line, that line in the middle, is normal. So 55 is well above normal for the week ending the 22nd. And notice that that we are going to be below normal at 49 degrees. So we actually, relative to normal, get a little bit cooler in March than we have been. But since the average lows and average highs are going up, it's nothing too out of the ordinary. So the main headline here is the warmth that we're going to have, the extent of that warmth over the course of the next couple of weeks. So that's what it looks like as far as at the last day of that bar, March 2nd, week leading up to March 29th, so forth, so on. Those are the average lows for the next 6 weeks in Shreveport. Here are the average highs in Shreveport. Week ending the 23rd, 76. That's the average high. And you can see how those, notice how March 29th, 73, but the bar is lower. That's because 73 on March 29th is below normal. That's how quickly normal starts to change. So this kind of shoots the hope of getting any snow for you snow fans out there. And as far as the temperatures in Texarkana, You can see mainly for the next month, the warmest week could be the week leading up to the 23rd, and we will see those lows kind of settle into the 40s. And you can see that nothing really outlandish, especially a little bit above normal for the next several weeks. And we might get a little bit below normal by the end of March. With that meaning in Texarkana, last 2 weeks we might see average highs. Again, if you average all those 14 high temperatures up, comes out to 70, which after today, which is what it was today, that doesn't sound too bad. Brad says 80s is too early. It is a bit early, Brad. We usually get a couple of 80-degree days in the winter months of December, January, February. Becomes more common in March. We have never, last year, I think we hit 90 in Texarkana in February. We hit 88, maybe 89 in Shreveport in February, but we've never hit 90 in Shreveport during the month of February. All right, so that's the outlook. So basically, we're looking at near normal rainfall, above normal temperatures, which will be most above normal here in the next couple of weeks. Don't see any other questions. Getting late, so I better rush through the forecast here tonight as the clouds will continue to increase. 50 for the nighttime low tonight. Normal low now is 40. 45 degrees for the low temperature in Texarkana. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at a mostly cloudy sky. It will be pleasant, however, and warmer. Normal high up to 62 now. We'll be at 79 in Shreveport, 78 in Natchitoches, up there in McCurtain County, 73 in Idabel, and 75 in Texarkana. And Betty, I think there in Union County, you'll probably be in the mid-70s as well. 10-day forecast shows, again, the likelihood of rain. It will be 100% Saturday night, but during the day, Saturday, not quite as high. Lingering shower possible Sunday. I think we'll be okay for the Highland Parade, although quite a few clouds. You can see the low 80s Wednesday, Thursday. Another chance for some rain Saturday, but there is some model disagreement on the timing of that, so we might see the day of that 30% change somewhat, and you can see a little bit of a cool down towards the end of next weekend. So that is pretty much the story here for the next, not only the next 10 days, the next couple of weeks, and actually the next 6 weeks. So that will pretty much do it for me tonight. And Betty wants another joke, and I have one for you that I will send you away with, my attempt at a little bit of humor. All right, here we go. A distressed man is in the cemetery crying his eyes out and beating a tombstone while shouting, "Why did you have to die? Why did you have to die?" A nearby man comes up to him and asks, "I'm very sorry. Is she your wife?" The distressed man looks up and replies, "No, it was her first husband." And that will officially do it for me tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in tonight at 9 on Fox and here in a couple minutes, or at 10 on NBC6. Of course, I won't be here tomorrow night, but I will be back on Monday with another live update. So until then, have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and as those storms move in Saturday night, be sure to stay safe. Good night.